known as variables are always at play. Each person's free will allows constant adjustment to even the simplest plans. We often think we know what is in our future by extending today's situation, but anything can happen, good or bad, to create a totally different outcome. The future is a mystery to be welcomed, not feared. Living in faith allows today to be the stepping stone to tomorrow's contentment. So that's the concept of the book, that there's 3 locks and 3 keys. And I think I'll just close here with a quote from the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow that I found that just sums this up perfectly. Look not mournfully into the past, it comes not back again. Wisely improve the present, it is thine. Go forth to meet the shadowy future without fear. I hope that these concepts might be helpful to you on your path to peace. Thank you.
I would like to ask our legislators to come forward now. Judy Schwenk and Mark Gillen. If you guys can come up front here, please. You can join me on the podium, and I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting us to come out again. That was really a nice dinner and a nice way to celebrate this special annual event that you always have. I think it's kind of unique because you don't necessarily just focus on Veterans Day to make sure that we remember the sacrifices that people have made in order for us to enjoy the things that we enjoy. So I prepared a few remarks because you asked me to come, kind of my own personal thank you, and I hope you'll appreciate it. Knowing that today John Glenn passed away reminds me, I was in grade school back in those days and remember watching that on TV. And I also remember President John F. Kennedy, and I remember that quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country?" Those of us here tonight and those of you here tonight who have served our nation, either through military service or law enforcement, are living examples of this great and noble thought and deserve our highest gratitude. And that's not just on Veterans Day, as I said, but each and every day of our lives. We can never thank you enough for your service to our great nation and to each and every American who enjoys the freedoms and liberties which define us as a people. How could we not be grateful and thankful to the men and women who pay the price of spending precious time away from their families, who endure the endless dangers of warfare, or who strive to keep us safe right here at home. Each and every man and woman who serves is an inspiration for dedication and bravery, and they command our unwavering respect, gratitude, and complete appreciation. You've given not only your time, effort, and commitment, and most importantly, some of you their very lives for the protection and preservation of the ideals and the values of this country. None of that exists without you. None of it would ever be possible, and none of it can continue without what you have done for us. You've given not only your time, effort, and commitment, but you've also given us so much more. My words of gratitude will never be enough. Nevertheless, I simply say, thank you for your years of service. The sacrifices that you've made for our country, on and off the battlefield, and in the streets of our nation, can never be truly and fully appreciated. America is blessed for the presence of our veterans and law enforcement officers. Your service makes not only our nation and our community a better place, but the world a better place. It keeps our nation a strong beacon of hope in freedom and democracy. So while it sounds awful simple, and sometimes it feels awkward, doesn't it? When you talk to a veteran and you want to say thank you for your service, but maybe the simplest words are the best words. none of which I can enjoy in the role that I play, not only as a state senator, but as a citizen, and just the life that I have, that I can enjoy. None of it would be possible without the things that you do now, that you have done, and our forefathers who have done for so many, many years. Thank you for your service.
I'd like to ask Representative Gillen to come up to the podium, please.
All right, I think I'm going to step down here with the crowd so that my daughter doesn't come on the platform. How many of you were at the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor dinner last night? I see Linda. Okay, folks, a number of you there. When I was up on the platform, my daughter couldn't resist the temptation to come up on the platform with me in the middle of my speaking. So, Susanna, you going to stay right there for the time being? You good? You have your cell phone there? Okay, great. I don't know whose cell phone that is. There are going to be some long-distance calls coming up on that cell phone. Okay, girls and phones. Yeah. Go ahead and set that phone down because I don't think that's yours. Well, those of you that were at the event last night, that was a special treat, and I appreciate my good friends of the Patriots being so well represented. Captain Dan Schrader was there. As far as we know, he's the only Pearl Harbor survivor in Berks County. I was alarmed today, slightly, though I would have been glad to hear there was another Pearl Harbor survivor. I got a call. They said, do you know there's another Pearl Harbor survivor, Berks County? And then they went on, but I'm getting a little more nervous about this whole thing after I announced there was only one left. And he goes, yeah, he's out in Wyoming now. I go, is he coming back? And he said, no. Okay. Well, I'm not sure he's in Berks County anymore. But in any event, 96 years old. You know, they call it the greatest generation. That was my parents' generation. And there are greats in every generation. But I think the difference about that period of time, Captain Dan Schroeder's time, they went through the Depression, they went into war, and war really never quite ended because we had the Korean, and then we went into the Vietnam era of conflict. But I walked into the Heritage at Green Hills this past weekend, and sitting to my right as I came in the entrance was Dee Gordon. She's in her early 90s. She's been wheelchair bound for decades. And she is sitting there as a greeter because they're having an exhibit of trains upstairs at the Heritage at Green Hills. Like many of you that put the uniform on, you've never stopped serving. And you know, we don't just look back historically and thank you for what you've done. I want to thank you for what you're doing. Because we've got folks that are part of this great organization here that put the uniform on and served historically, but continue to serve today. One of those people that was there at the Heritage of Green Hills is William Gordon. Whenever I come to the Heritage of Green Hills now, I announce, and I want to thank Bill Gordon again for saving my life. And the fact it prompted one of my children to say, Dad, were you in World War II? I said, no. I said, your grandfather was. And I said, William Gordon was a Hellcat fighter pilot, lives right across from my office he was a Hellcat fighter pilot on the USS Hancock. My dad was an airman in the machine gun turret of a Grumman Avenger. One of those slow-moving, lumbering, easy targets. If you've gone to the World War II weekend, I had the good fortune a number of years ago to talk to Colonel Tibbets of Enola Gay fame before he passed away. And then after I shared with him my interest in his story, he said, and what did your dad do in World War II? I said, well, he was in the Grumman Avenger. And he goes, really? What position was he in? I go, well, he was in the machine gun turret. He looks over and puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, son, you're lucky to be here. No easy way to get out of those planes. But I'm very thankful, and I feel very privileged to have met someone who served. My dad's been gone for over 30 years. I've served on that aircraft carrier, but I see a lot of you in him. Love of country, love of flag. I didn't spend a great deal of time with my dad when I was growing up. You know why? He worked at Western Electric. There was 5 of us kids. And when he came back from working at Western Electric, he left very early in the morning. I could just remember hearing that coffee pot go and the smell of coffee, and he took off early in the morning. Guess what he did when he came back in the evening? He got ready for his part-time job. He worked at Sears. He worked really hard, like a lot of you. You know, you built this country. You defended this country. Is there any reporters in the room before I go off here? I don't spend a lot of time watching TV, mainly because I don't have TV. That kind of limits me. And I don't like have a lot of favorite sports teams. I don't really have that much time for it, sorry. If you're an Eagles fan, a Steelers fan, a Phillies, or whatever it happens to be. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I have started rooting against some teams. I've started rooting against some teams. We got some spoiled brats out there, okay, that are millionaires, that go back to mansions and disrespect the national anthem of this country and disrespect the flag of this country, and I am rooting against those teams. You know, they say that the veterans ask nothing of us. It's not quite true. Not quite true. I didn't get that from my dad. My dad never talked about his wartime experience. Several weeks before he passed away, I was driving where I drove home. I was a correctional officer. Closed the door, flipped the radio on. It was Larry King Live, years ago, 1982. And there was an old Navy admiral, I don't know who it was. Larry King was interviewing him. Guy 56 years old called. It's my dad. They started talking about kamikaze attacks. Started talking about the losses. Started talking about anti-aircraft fire that was coming up in his Grumman Avenger. I learned more in 10 minutes listening to that because he's very reserved. He knew he was coming to the end with his lung cancer. I learned more in 10 minutes than I learned in my entire life. But I'll tell you what, he lived the flag. He lived patriotism. There is a way you handle this flag. We respect this flag and we honor this flag. And I'm sorry, if this is their constitutional right to do what they want, to trash that flag, then I'm going to exercise my First Amendment right and say it's garbage the way they treat the flag of the United States of America, because people died to protect that flag. On February the 23rd, Mount Suribachi, whose 6 Americans propped that flag up in that stiff wind on that mountain at Iwo Jima. They love their flag. I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, we have that iconic picture in our mind of that flag. But there were 6 Americans that were holding the flag that day, and in just a few days, 3 of those Americans died on Iwo Jima for a love of flag and a love of country and a call of duty, honor, and country. I'm here tonight to honor veterans and those that put the uniform on, but I'm here tonight to honor the flag of the United States of America as well. God bless you.
Thank you, Mark. Now, just before I hand the microphone over to Rod, I would like to say that we had an honor guard that was scheduled to be here tonight, and they had to cancel last minute because they lost one of their own. Sal Raculia, who owns Pizza Como, passed away, and he was very well respected in their honor guard and one of their members. So they're just so happen to be having the same time we're having this, they're having a memorial for him there. So We're sorry there was no honor guard, but there was no chance to get someone else last minute. I'd also like to say, I'm winded from running back and forth, sorry, and eating all that food. We are going to run a bus trip, and I'll give you a little bit more details later, but some people may get inside, some people may not. If you didn't see what was on the website, Judy put together a very good flyer that explains it all. Your legislators are only going to get so many tickets, and you have to contact them. Every household will get 2. That's it. 2 per household is what we're told. So we don't even know when they're coming out, and we can't get them. We tried to get for everybody who wants to go on the bus. It can't work that way. You will all have to get your own tickets to get in the inauguration, but I'll give you more details later. And then we also had, Eldon, where are you? Okay, I don't see him. Oh, we had the kids from the Schuylkill Valley Middle School wrote a bunch of cards to veterans, and they'd like to get written back to. So Eldon, before you guys leave tonight, see him. He has a card for you that came from somebody in the Schuylkill Valley Middle School. And they'd like you to pick one up, and they'd like you to write back and thank them for giving you a card, just so they know that the word's getting out that they were trying to honor you guys with a Christmas card. So please do that. I don't know how many there are, first come, first serve, but you'll get a Christmas card from the kids, and they just like an acknowledgement back.
Yeah. We'll put the address on our website where they can mail them.
Okay, we'll put the address on the website where you can mail to, but you can still pick up a card on the way out. Rod, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you. Now, we did tell Rod he doesn't get Miller minutes, he gets 2.
Hello again, folks. We have one other guest tonight, but it's almost like he's one of us. We've had him here several times speaking to us. He's spent a career giving financial advice to corporation heads and the like. And beyond that, he served our country. But just to show that you're never too old to change careers, this man has decided it was time to go to Harrisburg and carry our water up the hill. In fact, I'm going to count on him to drain the swamp. But his career goes way back, not only in financial world, but as a patriot of our country. He served both in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I want to introduce my dear friend for a long time and a retired Marine Colonel, Frank Ryan.
I was going to give Ron a hard time, but I wasn't sure that was a good idea. Let me come down as well. When you get to be my age, walking down the steps is not always an easy task. It's one of the great things. You know, tonight there was, unfortunately, because of the honor guard, there was a funeral, and I think we all pretty much recognize that's a higher priority, and we all sacrifice. But can I ask all the veterans to stand up, would you mind? And anyone who served as a police officer. Hey, Jim, here's your new honor guard. God bless you all for your service. Thank you very much for that. I can't tell you enough how important it is for us to salute you for what you've done. You've epitomized the entire concept of selfless sacrifice. Whenever you had to go into harm's way, no one asked you if you wanted to go. They didn't ask you if you were going to a safe space. Because for us, a safe space was something different, wasn't it? It was at the front end of a fire team. It was in the 50 caliber in the door gunner of a helicopter. A good friend of mine, Frank Loczynski, a tail gunner of a B-24, shot down 2 times. Just recently passed away, World War II veteran. You never asked any time if it was inconvenient. You never once asked any time what was in it for you. When you get back and we're supposed to take care of you at the VA, we put you on a waiting list. But I guess we're used to waiting, weren't we? It's kind of the military way. Hurry up and wait. And yet at the same time, we owe you more than that, but you never asked for a thing. But you know, you all put on the uniform again. How many of you voted in this recent election?